Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? Saints fans rejoiced when Tyrann Mathieu signed with the team, and Saints/LSU fans, let's say those that have the joint loyalty. And next up would seem to be Jarvis Landry. Jarvis has already visited the New Orleans Saints, and now the question is, might he end up here? Well, that possibility took another step forward with this report from Mary Kay Cabot of the Cleveland of Cleveland.com. I believe it's a Cleveland Plain Dealer. She reports that Jarvis Landry is likely moving on from the Cleveland Browns. That Cleveland and Kevin Stefanski, they feel good about their receiver room right now. Of course, they've got Amari Cooper, Donovan Peoples-Jones. They drafted both David Bell in the 3rd round and Michael Woods in the 6th round. So apparently, Cleveland is not interested in bringing Jarvis Landry back. Initially, the word was, when he was released, they would consider bringing him back on a more team-friendly deal. They have clearly moved on now, according to this report, from Jarvis Landry. The other interesting part of this report, though, from Mary Kay Cabot, is that, yes, Jarvis Landry visited the Saints last month, but other teams have also expressed interest in signing Landry. So I would love to know what other teams have expressed interest, because I think that really is going to be the answer to this question. I want to be very clear about something first before we go any further, because we've talked about this now a few times here. We've talked about it on some other platforms where I am, and maybe I'm not making this point incredibly clear. I would love it if Jarvis Landry signed with the New Orleans Saints. I'd love it. I'd be over the moon if Jarvis Landry ended up in New Orleans. He's one of my all-time favorite LSU Tigers. I love the way he plays the game. I love how hard-nosed he is. I love that he'll split dudes in half on special teams. I love that he's tough as hell going over the middle. I love that he makes impossible catches. I love everything about Jarvis Landry. I would absolutely be over the moon if he ends up in New Orleans. Can we say, like, I just want to be abundantly clear there? Okay? My question is if New Orleans makes sense for Jarvis Landry, because he'll be coming into an offense that has Michael Thomas, that just drafted Chris Olave, that throws a ton of balls to the backs out of the backfield. Kamara's an 80-catch guy. Are there enough targets for Jarvis? That's number one. And number two, what are they going to pay him? You've already got $100 million invested in Mike Thomas, and now you just invested the 11th overall pick in Chris Olave. You've already paid Ryan Ramczyk. I'm just talking about all the offensive guys that you paid. Ryan Ramczyk and Alvin Kamara, and you know the drill. You're going to have to pay Eric McCoy. Do you have enough, not only cap space, but because we know you can always manipulate the cap to make it work, but do you have the desire to invest that much money in another wide receiver? The answer could be yes. We've seen really loaded receiver rooms that are impressive. Look at the Rams last year. I mean, you brought in Odell to a receiving room that had Cooper Kupp and Robert Woods. I mean, they were awesome. So, yeah, sure, it could work. But that's why I said I'm curious what the other teams are that have expressed interest in Jarvis Landry. Because if there's a spot where he could step in day one and be the guy, and a place where they have the cap space and the willingness to pay a receiver like Jarvis Landry, there's probably a situation where he can make more and be more involved in an offense than New Orleans. Let me be clear. If Jarvis Landry ends up in New Orleans and you end up with Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave, and on top of that, you've got Alvin Kamara as well, that is the best wide receiver group in the history of the Saints organization. That's not hyperbole. I actually went and looked this up today to see if anything would compare. The only things that I came up with were 2016, when both Brandon Cooks and Michael Thomas's rookie year. Brandon Cooks, Michael Thomas, each went over 1,100 yards receiving, and Willie Snead was your number 3. He had 895 receiving yards that year. I mean, that was a massive year. 2011, which was the best offensive year in the history of the franchise, your top 3 pass catchers were Graham, Colston, and Sproles. Graham was a tight end. Sproles was a running back. So you're talking about receivers, like actual wide receivers. 2011 isn't in that mix. And then even the Super Bowl year, Marcus Colston led you with 1,074 yards. Devery Henderson and Robert Meacham were 2 and 3 respectively. Henderson had 804 yards and Meacham 722. I would take Michael Thomas, Jarvis Landry, Chris Olave over Colston, Henderson, Meacham. And I mean, I even went back to like the 2000s when Joe Horn, and you just didn't really have a legit number 2 in any of those years. I guess later when Horn, they drafted Devery in 2003. But anyway, point is, this would be the best 3-headed monster at receiver in the history of the Saints organization if they were able to sign Jarvis Landry. Does Jarvis want to be in that clutter, that much of a room where targets may be hard to come by? For Jameis Winston, if you're going to get he's already got a healthy Michael Thomas. You just drafted Chris Olave. He can turn around, hand the ball to Alvin Kamara, or throw it to him. I think you still need help at tight end, but maybe Troutman emerges. If you give Jameis Winston Jarvis Landry also, I mean, you're talking about a Saints team that offensively could emerge as one of the best in the NFL this year because of all the weapons around a now healthy Jameis Winston. For me, the bigger question is the point that I'll keep going back to. What other teams have interest? Because there are going to be other places that can offer Jarvis more money and more targets. What does he want? Does he want to come home? Does he want to come home to New Orleans, play for a winner, play with Tyron? Maybe. And if he does, I'd love to see it. But that's the big thing right now. Who else is in the mix? What are they offering? Until we know that, I don't think we'll know what Jarvis's final destination will be. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact. And be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.